you've done something very special with your following a bit, and by picking up the numbers you have on social media. So my question is, for other guys who also might want to start documenting their martial arts journey, do you have any good tips for growing a great following on social media like yours and engaging your fans?
Yeah, so that's such a multi-leveled question, right? Because
Sure.
when I first started, it was totally different because there's honestly like a pre-COVID and post-COVID with like social media and how people are utilizing it to ideally make a living, right? Because like, are you asking how do I like build my personal brand to make a living off of it, or how am I able to just build a following, right? Because there's so many people who have a big following, but what are you doing with it, right? Are you just
Mm.
building a following for the sake of building a following and having the vanity metrics of seeing, feeling like an important person, or are you actually utilizing that to create a business out of it, or change people's lives through it, or actually do some type of impact, right? So in that regard, I think the most important thing to do is first find out who you are. That's like the most important thing, right? And be able to communicate that through social media and try to be authentic and don't like focus on all these like tactics and strategies, but just show up and be consistent. If there's one thing that is rooted in every aspect of life, is like if you're just consistent with it, you'll eventually get good at it, right? And so just constantly showing up before like I think I've made a Facebook post on my Muay Thai guy Facebook page every single day for the past 10 years. And I don't think that's an exaggeration at all. It's probably twice a day in the past 10 years. I've emailed my fans at least once a week for the past X amount of years. I've been consistently showing up. This is a part of my life. And so if you want to actually make this like sustainable, right? You kind of have to let it take over your life in a way. It sounds kind of crazy when I'm saying it like that and when I'm actually vocalizing it, but you have to really immerse yourself in this shit. And you also have to learn how to actually leverage your social media following, your fan base to make a living off of it. Cause I see so many fighters, it's sad because they have so many followers and stuff, but I know Muay Thai, you don't make money, man. You just don't make money in Muay Thai. It's not a lucrative sport. You don't get into it to make money. So you have to either be top level, like 1%, like in MMA standards, like a Conor McGregor or a Floyd Mayweather to make like that kind of money. But everyone thinks you're like making money as a fighter, but there is it's really hard to make a living. And so if you want to like take the martial arts route and become a fighter or become someone who is able to make a living based off whatever they want, then you really just have to be consistent, show up for yourself, show up for the people who are supporting you, give back to the people who are supporting you, and try to drown out the noise of everyone telling you how to show up on social media, how to do certain things, and just be you and be consistent.
So much of that noise, isn't there, out there at the moment? And yeah, I just want to prove a point as well to a few people here too, from what you just said. So many people think that just because they've outputted, daily content for a couple of months and they're not really seeing the results and stuff, or even, a year or something like this, and they're not seeing the correct numbers. I just want to prove the point. So, Sean, how long do you think you've been outputting this content on Instagram, YouTube? How long do you think that's been going on for, and how have you managed to stay so consistent with it for that long?
Uh Years for sure. For Facebook, I think I started 12 years ago. So,
There you
and
go.
that's been consistently every day. Instagram was a little bit later in the game. YouTube, I haven't been as consistent, but it's been like my blog post, everything I've done has been 10 plus years in the making, including the fight portion of my career, because you have to also separate those two, right? Because
Hmm.
fighting is not really a game, right? I actually just read about a death of a fighter in Thailand from a brain injury, right? And so you can't like take it lightly either. And so it really just is evolved about like going all in and feeling it is also important to feel like you have some type of support system around you, people around you who kind of at least believe in you. Because when I first started, man, and probably when a lot of people first start, I'm sure the same goes with you. Oh, you're starting a podcast. That's like cute, right? Like good luck,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's doing it now or whatever it is. Like you need people who are actually believing in you. And so I was very fortunate to have my wife throughout pretty much this entire journey and my family. And so I don't know where I'm going with this exactly, but essentially, I've been at it for years. And if you want to really make something of this, you just got to commit. Like I was saying when I had my third fight, I remember the moment I decided like this was what I'm gonna do. Was it easy? No, hell fucking no. You know,
Yeah.
I lost fights. I broke my arm. I've been knocked out. I've had plenty of business failures as well, losing tens of thousands of dollars, having retreats go wrong, having all these things go wrong that make me really question, is this the right way? But I always rooted back into why I was doing it, and the why was so much greater than the pain or the quote unquote failures that I kept facing. And so I guess now speaking a little bit more about your question, I think it really just comes down to like figuring out, why are you even doing this and why do you want to be doing this? A lot of people skip out on like the vision work and trying to figure out the direction of your life. And people, especially nowadays, want the quick fix, the quick dopamine hits, the likes, the all that shit, right? But it's the long-term investment, the long-term commitment to yourself and your vision, which is really going to like make the biggest difference in my opinion.
Love that. Wow, what a deep answer. And just one more thing on that, on this topic as well, on that question. Would you say there was a certain point where everything just kind of clicked, you know, in that 12 years or so, where everything just started to go kind of viral and start to shoot up, or was it something that was more of a gradual increase over time?
It was gradual. It was definitely gradual. And like I said, consistent. There was no viral video. There was no one thing that did it. It was just a compilation of putting one brick down at a time until I had a gigantic wall, you know, just
Yeah,
like building the foundation and then just gradually adding to it. And yeah, just consistency, man. That's the key, at least from what
awesome.
I found.